I've spent a lot of time thinking about what I'm going to share with you today, and it hit me we're all running from something that's actually a gift, being alone. See, society's got us believing that being alone is somehow a weakness, that if you're by yourself, something must be wrong with you. But let me tell you something, and listen closely, some of the most powerful moments in your life will happen when there's nobody else around. I remember when I was starting out in this business, way before the fame, before the recognition, I'd spend hours alone in my apartment, just me and my thoughts. People would call, invite me out, try to distract me from what they thought was loneliness. But what they didn't understand, what most people still don't understand, is that I wasn't just sitting there. I was building, I was growing, I was becoming. You see, when you're alone, that's when you really hear your own voice. Not your mama's voice, not your friend's voice, not social media's voice, your voice. And let me tell you something about that voice. It's the most honest conversation you'll ever have. I'm going to share something with you that might surprise you. The most successful people I know, they've mastered the art of being alone. They understand something fundamental: greatness isn't born in crowds. It's born in those quiet moments when you're pushing yourself, questioning yourself, challenging yourself. You know what happens when you're truly alone? You start seeing things differently. That phone that keeps buzzing, it becomes less important. That constant need for validation, it starts fading away. Because in solitude, you learn the most valuable lesson of all: you are enough. Let me break it down for you. When was the last time you actually sat with your thoughts? No music, no TV, no distractions, just you. Most people can't handle 5 minutes of that. They get itchy, uncomfortable, start reaching for their phone like it's some kind of life support. But that discomfort, that's where the magic happens. I see some of you nodding, some of you shifting in your seats. Yeah, I'm talking to you because you know exactly what I'm talking about. That moment when you're alone and all those thoughts you've been running from finally catch up. That's not your enemy. That's your opportunity. You know, I've been in this industry for over 4 decades now, won some awards, made some movies that people seem to like. But you want to know where every single one of those achievements started? In solitude. When I was alone, rehearsing lines at 3 a.m. while everyone else was sleeping. When I was sitting in empty theaters after everyone had gone home, just feeling the space, understanding my craft. But this isn't just about acting. This is about life, your life. See, being alone isn't just about physical solitude. It's about mental solitude. It's about finding that space in your head where you can think clearly, dream bigger, plan smarter. Let me tell you something about success. Success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about what you overcome. And some of the biggest obstacles you'll face, they're internal. They're those doubts that creep in when you're by yourself. But here's the secret: those moments of doubt, they're actually moments of opportunity. You see, we're living in a world that's terrified of silence, terrified of stillness. Everybody's trying to fill every second with noise, with distraction, with something, anything to avoid being alone with their thoughts. But let me tell you what I've learned: the noise, it's lying to you. The silence, that's where the truth lives. I remember one night early in my career, I just failed an audition, failed it bad. The kind of failure that makes you question everything. Everyone was telling me to go out, blow off steam, forget about it. But instead, I went home, sat in my room, just me and that failure. And you know what happened in that solitude? I found clarity. I understood why I failed. Not because someone told me, but because I had the space to figure it out myself. Some of you right now are running from something. Maybe it's a decision you need to make. Maybe it's a truth you're not ready to face. Maybe it's a dream you're scared to pursue. And you're filling your life with noise to avoid dealing with it. Stop running. The answer you're looking for, it's in the silence. It's in those moments when you're alone. You know what's funny? We talk about finding yourself like it's some kind of mystical journey, like you need to climb a mountain or travel the world. But finding yourself, that happens in the quiet moments. When you're alone in your room, facing your fears, your dreams, your truths. That's where you find out who you really are. Let me tell you something about power. Real power isn't about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself. And you can't learn self-control when you're constantly surrounded by others. You learn it in those moments when no one's watching. When the only person you have to answer to is yourself. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Denzel, that sounds lonely, but there's a difference between being lonely and being alone. Loneliness is a lack of connection. Being alone, that's a choice. That's power. And once you understand the difference, it'll change your whole life. You see, the world is full of people who are never alone, but are lonely as hell. They're surrounded by people 24/7, got thousands of followers on social media, got their phone buzzing every minute. But they don't know themselves. They've never taken the time to figure out who they are when nobody's watching. Let me tell you something about success, real success. It's not about what you do when everyone's watching. It's about what you do when nobody's watching. It's about those early morning hours when you're the only one awake working on your craft. It's about those late nights when you're pushing yourself while others are resting. It's about those moments when you could cut corners, but you don't, because you've developed integrity and solitude. I've been in rooms with some of the most powerful people in the world. CEOs, presidents, world leaders. You know what they all have in common? They're comfortable being alone with their thoughts. They don't need constant validation. They don't need constant company. They've learned to trust their own judgment, their own instincts. And that didn't happen by accident. It happened because they embraced solitude. Here's something they don't teach you in school. The quality of your life will be determined by the quality of your thoughts. And you can't develop quality thoughts in constant chaos. You need silence. You need solitude. You need those moments when it's just you facing yourself honestly. You know what's interesting about being alone? It shows you exactly who you are. Not who your parents want you to be. Not who your friends think you are. Not who social media says you should be. Just you. Raw, unfiltered, real you. And let me tell you something, that person, that's who you need to get to know. I watch people destroy themselves trying to be what everyone else wants them to be. They're so afraid of being alone that they lose themselves in others' expectations. But here's the truth, and listen carefully, because this is important. You cannot be truly strong, truly independent, truly successful until you're comfortable in your own company. Let me give you a hard truth. At some point in your life, you're going to face a challenge that nobody else can help you with. A moment when all the advice, all the support, all the well wishes in the world won't matter. In that moment, the only thing that's going to count is how well you know yourself, how comfortable you are making decisions alone, how strong you become in solitude. You see, being alone isn't just about physical isolation. It's about mental independence. It's about being able to stand firm in your convictions when everyone else is moving in the opposite direction. It's about being able to say no when everyone else is saying yes. It's about being able to say yes when everyone else is saying no. I remember times in my career when everybody, and I mean everybody, was telling me to take certain roles, make certain choices. The money was good, the exposure was guaranteed. But in those quiet moments when I was alone with my thoughts, something didn't feel right. And you know what? Those moments of solitary reflection saved me from making decisions I would have regretted for the rest of my life. Here's something powerful about solitude. It teaches you patience. In a world of instant gratification where everyone's looking for shortcuts, being alone forces you to face the reality that real growth takes time. Real success takes time. Real strength takes time. You want to know why most people never reach their full potential? Because they're afraid of being alone with their failures. They're afraid of those quiet moments when they have to face their weaknesses, their fears, their inadequacies. But let me tell you something, those moments, that's where champions are born. Every single person in this room has greatness within them. Every single one of you has a unique gift, a unique purpose. But you'll never discover it in the noise. You'll never find it in the crowd. You'll find it in those moments of solitude When you're brave enough to ask yourself the hard questions and patient enough to wait for the answers. As I wrap this up, I want to leave you with this. The next time you feel that urge to run from solitude, to fill the silence with noise, to surround yourself with distraction, stop. Embrace that moment. Lean into it. Because that moment of discomfort, that's not your enemy. That's your opportunity. That's your chance to grow stronger, to think deeper, to become more. Remember this, the world will try to tell you that you need to be constantly connected, constantly engaged, constantly surrounded by others. But the truth is, your greatest power lies in your ability to stand alone, to think alone, to grow alone, to be alone. So tonight, when you're home, turn off your phone, shut down your computer, sit in silence for a while, and really listen to what your inner voice is telling you. Because that voice, that's the voice that will lead you to greatness. That's the voice that will guide you to your destiny. That's the voice that will help you become who you were meant to be. Remember, being alone isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. And once you master it, there's absolutely nothing you can't achieve. Thank you